If you want to hear about the greatest resource to you on earth and where you can spend your time to learn practically anything, stay tuned as Phil Wilkerson gives you tips that will change your life. Greetings, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of our Tips Story series. I'm your host, Dannita Trice, the founder of Tips Change Lives. Today, I am excited to introduce you to our guest, who is a force with a positive filter, no less. We know each other through our professional organization. I love his ability to just be himself. He is a person who connects with others genuinely. So without further ado, I want to introduce you to my friend, my colleague, Phil Wilkerson.
Hey, I like that. I like that pop up. I like popping up on you. That's pretty funny. Hey, hey,
I'm here for your background, Phil. Yes.
I kind of wanted. I was purposely going to say I'm gonna pop up on this thing like, hey, like really like obnoxiously loud and extra. So, well, thank you so much for this opportunity.
Love it. Thank you for joining me today. I had bounced this idea off of you maybe a while ago, and so glad that I was able to reach out and you were like, yes, let's do it tomorrow. That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, Phil, I'm excited for everybody to get to meet you. So tell us a little bit about your background.
So as you mentioned, we met through professional associations. I'm a higher ed professional. Working in career centers and helping students with their career development. But then my side hustle is doing career coaching privately for certain people, as well as being a podcast host of my show, Positive Philter, which you kind of threw that plug in there early on. And so that's just kind of my background. The full gamut, I'm a husband to my wife, Maggie, and I have two crazy boys, Miles and Bennett. So, obviously those are my big identities of who I am and how I show up in the world as husband, father, and then a guy that has a job and a podcast. So awesome. So well-rounded, and again, someone that I certainly enjoy our colleagueship. Well, would you like to tell us a little bit more about your business? Well, so I figure I help a lot of students with their career development, and over the years, I think I've gained an expertise in how to, show yourself to employers. So I decided to kind of launch a little side hustle, which is just career counseling on the side for people out in the community that are not affiliated with a university that still would like some assistance with their resume, their cover letter, LinkedIn, interview skills. So basically just what I do, but offering it to a wider audience, and just bringing those skills that I have from my experience helping college students to the greater community. So that's one. And then also my podcast, which is just kind of my media outlet to, as you say, share positive positive vibes through the airways, as they say. Just kind of get it out there. So that's just kind of my business. So it's Positive Philter on everything. Positive Philter LLC.
Love it. You're an excellent example of how you take your gifts, you keep perfecting them, and you let it work for the greater good, and you're making some change on the side with it too. So that's awesome.
Hopefully. And obviously you say perfection. I'm far from perfect. I'm one of those people that keep on I experiment a lot and try new things. And what I've noticed with those experiments of trying new things is worst case scenario, it doesn't really work out. Best case scenario, I tried something new. So when deciding to do this separate business or podcasting or all these different experiments, I would say worst case scenario is that, it doesn't come out perfect. Sometimes I stutter like I'm doing sometimes on my show. Sometimes I'm not as clean, but at the end of the day, I've taken a step forward toward progress, and I tried something that stretched my skills, got me connected with other people, and just made me grow as a person. So you won't know what you don't know until you try, and you won't know what you don't know until you fail and learn from those failures and try again and try different ways. So I'm just really excited about doing these things and trying new things.
You said a mouthful right there, and I'm so glad that you said it the way that you said it, because that's the whole premise of Tips Change Lives. Hey, it's just a small thing. and a small step that you can take and keep doing again to keep bettering yourself. And you don't have to have it perfect the first time. So thank you for saying that just the way you did. So let's get to the tips portion of this.
All right.
Tell me a tip, any tip that has changed your life professionally.
Okay, well, I mean, I think it's a personal, professional, my being, right? One of the things I've learned over time is that people are the greatest resource on this earth. And I don't say that in some like Machiavellian, like take over people and tell people what to do. I'm saying it more like everything I've learned, every opportunity that has been given to me has been through connecting with other people, asking questions. We could say professionally is informational interviews and looking for mentors, that aspect, but also could be personal, like, just relationship advice, parenting advice, all those different things. And I've learned over time is that this sounds great. And I say this to people all the time, and I don't want to try to say this in a bad way. It's like, there's 1 billion people, a billion people on this earth, right? And so when you think that your experience is solely unique to you, I hate to break it to you, things that you want to do or things that you try to aspire to do has in some form or fashion been done before, yes. Right? And so what's the best way to do it is look for people that do things that you want to do in different combinations and ask them questions, because like a lot of people have set the framework, Michael Jordan, I mean, sure, he's the greatest basketball player to ever think about, but there was someone that played basketball before Michael Jordan, right? And he watched the game, he learned from them, he got a coach. And so I've learned that early on, I think early on in my career, but early on, and just find someone that's doing the things I want to do and ask them questions, reach out to them and utilize that person as a resource. So if anything else, just look for people that are doing the things you want to do and ask them questions. Now, if you are shy and you don't want to ask them questions, guess what we have? We have books and podcasts. So you don't even have to reach out to these people. Just look at like people that you look up to and find all the information, read their biographies, listen to their podcasts, listen to their interviews. So look for people that you want to aspire to and use them as models.
Amazing. What really came to my mind when you were talking is research.
Yeah.
Meeting people, talking to people, asking questions. It's a form of research too, which you can do with books if you don't really want to connect with people. So yeah, I'm glad you brought that out. Thank you. So one thing that we sometimes fail to realize or remember is that professionals are people too.
Yes.
The hustle and bustle and grind of every day. So tell us a tip, any tip that has nothing to do with being a professional that's changed your life.
I guess particularly COVID or pre-COVID, I think we all have the ability to learn something new. I think you kind of shared it right here, cooking tips and all those things. Is like, shout out to Google, shout out to YouTube. If you really want to invest your time, you can learn anything you want. I wasn't the best cook, but I love cooking now. It started off as a necessity when my wife was working late and she was like, you got to make your own food. I was like, okay. And I learned how to cook from necessity, but then I realized like I want to play around and cook new things. So it's like you can learn anything. I think one thing I would say though is that we have different skills. So maybe we start off with a different level of expertise. Like some people are already naturally good cooks and become better cooks. But I really think that with the internet, if you really care about it, you can learn anything. Learn anything on YouTube, and just anything that you want to get better at. And there's some things I don't want to get better at, and I'm okay with that. I'm not going to try to be better at handy stuff around the house. My wife hates that. Get someone else to do it. But I love cooking, so I'm gonna invest my time on YouTube and learn how to be a better cook. So that's kind of my personal thing. Like, just find something that you want to do and get better, and you can do it. Obviously we have so much information to do those things.
Yes, YouTube. Yes, yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. The professional development source of the decade, right?
Yeah. Or personal development. I'm literally, if you're like, yo, how do I fix a tire? Just Google how to fix a tire, and you'll get a video. I mean, there's it's just so quick now. So like, my wife always jokes with me. I ask her a question, and she says, Google. I'm like, okay, thank you. I asked you the question. She gonna tell me to Google it. But like, we can Google anything, personally. So.
Yes. So something fun. Drinkware. I want to know what's your favorite drinkware during the day, and can you show it to us?
Well, I mean, I don't know if you can see it with this weird background. It's weird though, but it's a George Mason cup. And so I don't know if it's my favorite. I would say anything that has something to do with something connected to me is my drinkware. So I got an Alpha cup. Shout out to the frat, FIA, you know what I'm saying? I got an Alpha cup. I got a Mason cup. I got a JMU cup. I just got cups that have, a Nationals cup. So I love cups that have like logos and stuff on them. I'm totally a sucker for buying drinkware that has something to do with logos on them.
Okay.
And she's like, you got so many plastic cups, but I just like to, I'm gonna drink a beer. Let me drink in my little, my Mason cup today. So I love cups that have something in connection to me, whether it's a school or an organization I'm a part of. So if anyone wants to like sucker me into buying swag, just put your logo on a cup and I'll buy it. So
hey, I'll remember that.
Yeah. So hey, if you want to make cups, I'll buy a plastic cup with your logo on it.
That is good to know. Let me start on that right now.
Yeah, cups.
Well, Phil, thank you so much for joining us today. Is there anything that you want to leave with the audience?
Well, I mean, I want to leave that. One of the things I would leave is kind of going back to that people thing, and you saying build relationships. I never would have thought that meeting you, and I think one of my skills is people memory. I remember the first time I met you is you were doing a design your life training, and I was looking and I was kind of nervous, and I was like, wow, Dannita's doing big things, training people and things like that. And I just remember leaving that experience when we met and saying, okay, well, one of the things I can do is keep in touch with different people and remember people and just build relationships. And I never would have thought that, I don't know, was that like nearly 2 years ago? I'm not sure that we would be here talking on this platform. And so I just know that when people introduce yourselves or come overlap in your life, right? I think it has a purpose. I don't know your, God's plan, as people would like to say, that people come in your lives for certain reasons. And I really believe that one of the things I think that we should remember is treat everyone nice and treat everyone kind, because you never know when you're going to intersect again, right? And so that's one of my biggest things is like, no matter what I have control over, when it's all said and done, if I leave this earth, right, all my materials will leave, all my possessions, whatever, but the only thing that lasts beyond me is my name and how I treated people. Because, that's what they're going to talk about when you pass away, right? How did Philip treat me? And he was nice. So that's something I kind of overtly always try to remember is like, don't burn bridges, don't be mean to people, try to be nice to people, because when it's all said and done, no one remembers how rich you are, or how cool you were. They always remember how you made them feel and how nice you were and how kind you were, those intangibles. And so that kind of just builds my philosophy, right? And if you make mistakes, that's fine, but always own up to it, ask for forgiveness and just keep it moving from there.
Beautiful. And Phil, I can certainly say what you just said is true to form, to who you are. It was a pleasure having you on today. How can people contact you about your business?
Positive Philter on all the platforms, but Philter is spelled with a PH instead of an F because I'm so clever. So, positive and then PHILTER on Instagram, Facebook, and Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, those handles. And then just normal LinkedIn. I love that platform to connect with people professionally. So just Philip Wilkerson, the third. I think you have to put the third on there because I don't know how the algorithm works, but if you put that, you'll find me on LinkedIn, and we'll love to connect with you and follow up.
All right. Well, thank you so much again. And everyone, take these tips to heart. Certainly, they will change your life. Come back here. We're going to have another episode of Tips Change Lives very soon, of our Tips Story series. Thanks so much, and let these tips change your life today.